Okay, so today task is 763 partition label. I'll quickly read the question and then I'll start solving. Okay, so they ask to maximize number of partitions, and the length is not that great, not that big. I mean, so there is a certain hint here. So I can always like go and um, it seems like if the letter appears at most one part here, I can reduce it even further, like up to this point, even up this point. So the idea is the following, like I go one by one, letter by letter, and then first I'm gonna save all the letters in a hash map and like their frequencies, and then I'll go one by one, letter by letter, and I'll check the frequency and check the frequency, but the next letter can be the one that I should add, but the current one should like miss because it's frequent. So it's always kind of decision, should I add the next letter or should I not add the next letter? And if I'm not adding the next letter, what should I do with next letter? So if I say, okay, I stop right here, I'm not adding this letter. Uh, so let's assume we have this word. It has A's, one, two, three, four A's, B's, one, two, three B's, C's has one, two C's, D has two D's, and then E, one, two, three, F, F1, F, E, F, G. I don't remember what stands next. G, okay, G1, H1, no, 2, G, H, I, 1, J, 2, K, G, H, I, J, K, 1, L, 1. So, if I gonna go, so I should make a partition with only that with the letters that only included in the current one partition, but not included in the next partition. So if I have a counter of kind of non-unique, so let's assume we have this one BC by 3, maybe even by 5. So I start with a, let's go to the Excalibur. So if I start with a, so I'll have the A. Let's say I'll have num non-unique is going to be 1. So adding to the current window. So I move the pointer, num of non-unique going to be 1. So add b. And also I change the remaining number of a's and b's. Like it's going to be 3 now. So a is 3, b is 3, c2. So initially it was a4, b3, c2, d2, e3, and f1, g1, h2, h1, I1, and then J1, K1, and then L1. J2, actually, yeah, J2. So I'll currently like have a pointer at pointing at B, and I change already. Let's assume. So I change already this one to 3, and I added A to my first partition. And because I added like num remaining non-unique equals 1, because after I add 1, I change the counter to 3, and it means that I still have the letter in a partition that have uh, like the same letters in the outside of the current partition. So as soon as all my letters in the current partition are not containing in other part, in the left part, I can close the partition and start a new one. So I added A, so then I have it B, number of non-unique B changes to 2, and this one number of non-unique changes to 2. And then I go to A again, so number changes to 2, number of non-unique the same, 2, because I already have, I should also have this hash or like contains, so I have contains A and B now. And the current size also, size is gonna be equal A and A, so 3. There, let's clean this up a little bit. Yeah, it's a bad idea to do that. Let's write it down here. A B, A B, C B A, C A E E, and then I'm gonna have F E G G E H I J H K L I J. So I am currently staying on this one A. I changed size A. So I added to the partition A. So num of non-unique, because I already have A in the contains, so I don't change it. So I move the pointer to B, to the next one, and again I change the P, because B contains, I change the counter for the to the 1, and because of B, I change the counter to 1, so it still have like B is contains in the right side of this string. So it, and because of B is already contains, I cannot change, I cannot increase, I cannot decrease, so it stays the same 2. And then I move to the C, and then again I number of so C doesn't is not included in the previously added letters, so I change of the num and like when I add the C, I include it in the partition and change the counter of the remaining number of C's, and number of non-unique changes to 3. And as soon as number of non-unique changes to 0, I should start another partition and record the size. So now I go to B again. I add the B to the partition. I change the size the remaining to 0, and I change of number non-unique to 2. So I go again to A. I check the counter. Counter becomes 1. It's already included, so A. Okay. So then counter go to C. So add C, change to 0. Because I changed to 0, I should change the number of non-unique to 1. And then again I go to A. I add the A and change the counter for that one to 0. A number of non-unique becomes 0. So I can close the partition and start new one. So I go to D, add it. Number of non-unique becomes 1. Change the size to 1. And then I go to E, I add it. Change the size to 2. Number of non-unique becomes 2. So next I go find next check what the next one. The next one is F. I add F. I change its frequency. So I change it first to 2 to 3, and then back to 2 because number of non-unique becomes 0. Then I go to E, add it, change size to 1, number of non-unique stays 2. Then I go to G. I change the size, becomes 0. Number of non-unique stays 2. Then I go D. I change size 0. Number of unique becomes 1. And then I go to E. E becomes 0. Add E to the partition. And number of non-unique becomes 0. So I close the partition here. So next I'll start another partition with age, so on and so forth, and that's going to be the last partition. So I guess I'll explain it. So let me program it right now. So for first I'm gonna go through the every character and add it to the hash map of the frequencies. And I'll have this int, not a hash map, I'll have this just simple int array. Int. And then I'll start, so I'll have this list integer result, and then I'll have this boolean contains a new boolean 26, here new array list, and then for int I equals 0, I'll have an s length I plus plus, and then on every step, so the current size, have in current size. So and I'll have also the counter of int number of non-unique 0. For every character, I should decide so if I should add it to the current partition or next partition. So I have it I'm staying at index I, and what should I do here? Let's assume we are adding it, we're always adding that to the new partition, to the current partition, and in the end I'm gonna check if the number of non-unique, if number of non-unique equals 0, then I'll do the following. I'll do the result add current size, and then current size gonna be reset. I'll reset current size to 0. So what I'll do, I'll have this int, same int character equals s char at I minus a. So if this so I'll add the current character of frequency minus minus, so fk character frequency minus minus car size plus plus, and then contains and then also here reset the contains of new boolean 26. So contains character equals true. So the frequency, I've decreased the frequency, and I need to check the frequency of the remaining character. If the frequency, so first of all, if, okay, so if frequency becomes 0, I'll say if frequency not equal 0, remaining frequency, I'll need to increase the number of non-unique. And I don't need this number of non-unique. I need it to keep the track. If frequency becomes 0, I need to number of non-unique decrement, and if contains character equals false, I'll need to increment that number of non-unique. Let's do this one. Yeah, it was more because I need to account for the decrement for the decrement of number of non-unique. So this one seems like I need to just return result. Let's trace it. I'm not that particularly sure about this algorithm I wrote just now. So let's trace it for this word they give us. So I'll have initially, as I said here, A4, B, B3, C2, C2, D2, E3, F1, G1, and then H2, I2, no, I1, J2, and then K1, L1, K1, L1. So I save these frequencies here and then contains cos empty. So, and I have this string. So first I get the first character frequency decreases to 3. Car size is gonna be equal 1. Contained null, so contained becomes a include number of, because frequency is contains false, number of non-unique. Yeah, it's kind of deceiving name, but still, I'll use it. Number of non-unique. It's gonna be in the end of the iteration number of non-unique, but we'll adjust this number. So if I change number of non-unique and I increment gonna be incremented to 1. Contain, so start having it frequency, so we don't increment number of non-unique, and go to the next character. So we go to B, we add that to the current partition, then we decrement the frequency, current size becomes 2, contains, so contains becomes true for this one. It was false, number of non-unique changed to 2. A number of non-unique not 0, so we proceed to C. So frequency of C decremented 1, we add frequency, so current size becomes 3. Contains false, so it's we added number of non-unique, we increment first, and then contains equals true, and then if frequency is equal 0, we decrement, but frequency for the C is not equal 0, so we don't decrement number of non-unique. So go to the pointer, move the pointer to D. So frequency of D decremented here. Current size incremented 4. Contains, it doesn't, so number of non-unique also changes to 4. And we add D here. And number of non-unique is not equal 0, so we continue. So I go to E. E changes to 2. Frequency current size changes. Oh no. So I shouldn't go to D. So it was 3. So next one, why I went to C even? So I should use this as an input. So I was 2, number of non-unique AB. So I go to, and again to A. That was 3, 2, okay. I go to A again. So our pointer is, my pointer is at A now. So frequency of A changes to 2. Current size increments by 1. Contains, so I contain A, so number of non-unique doesn't change. Frequency of A is not 0, so I don't change it also here. And I proceed to the next one. The next one is B. So I change the frequency of B. I change the size, so size becomes 4. I change size of current partition. I change contains. Contains is not changed. It's still true. And number of non-unique doesn't change also. Frequency yeah, frequency of B stays like 1. Um, so it's not 0. So I go next one to C. Again, frequency of C changes to 0. Current size increments by 1, so 5. Contains, so it's first, it's incremented by 3, by 1 here, and contains becomes like C here, and then because of frequency changed to 0 here, I should decrement the number of non-unique, so it becomes 2. And number of non-unique is still not equal 0, so I proceed to the next one. Next one is B. So I go change B frequency to 0. I increment the current size to 6. B already contains, so I don't change number of non-unique here. Contains true. Frequency changed to 0, so number of non-unique should be decreased, and I decreased it. Number of should be decreased to 1, actually. Yeah, I decreased that one previous step. So I now add the BA. No, it's now at A. So A changes to, frequency changes to 1, current size changes to 7. So I'm currently like here. Contains equals still true. Frequency is not equal 0, so number of non-unique stays 1. So I move the pointer to the next one, to C. It was also C. There was 2 C's. Yeah, should have changed it to 1, and that one should have been like always 2. And now I have like C, change frequency C to 0. Current size increments by 1, 8. Contains A, B, so C still contains in a current partition. Frequency becomes 0, so I should increment the number of unique, and then number of non-unique is still not 0, so I'll proceed to the next character. So next character is A. I change the frequency for the A here. 0 becomes 0. Current size incremented by 1, 9. So contains, still contains. Frequency becomes 0, so number of non-unique changes to 0. And because of number of non-unique is equal 0, I'm gonna add the result, current size. Result gonna put, result gonna be like 9. And then current size gonna be discarded, like reset, and then contains gonna be reset. And then I added the result, then letter to the like current partition to the result, and move to the next letter. So next letter is D. So I change frequency becomes 1, current size becomes 1, contains, also I add D, number of non-unique increments, and frequency is not of character, so like not equal 0, so I don't decrement, and so on and so forth. So I assume this should be right. Okay, that's it. Treat it as pass. Oh no, actually fail because I spent like 40 minutes to solve this problem. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, and solution, high-level solution. I have the frequency of characters array, and I have this contains array, and I have this current number of non-unique. That's number uh, of of digits of like digit types of numbers that are included in the current partition, but still that have non but they still have some of this number occurrences in the right partition, in the right part that we have not processed yet. And then I just go one by one characters and then check how this number of the new changes and how number of current size changes, how the frequency changes, and based on like direction of those changes, and if the number of unique becomes 0, means I can finish the partition and start a new one. So that's it.